All right. Hello.
Hello.
All right. So at least I know this is working. It's here. Users. Yes. I'm trying to figure out how I was able to email all of you last time to make sure everyone had the link for this time. Mhm. Must have not been here. I emailed you this link, is that right? Is that how you guys got this to get here? I actually emailed you the link.
You sent an email.
Yeah. All right, so I know there's a way of doing it.
Did you send another one right now?
No, that's what I'm working on right now.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
actually
I'm
working on.
here. Marlene Ponte is here.
There we go. That's it.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, let me just send out another email in case someone lost the last one. And I got to work on getting this on Blackboard so everyone has access to this on Blackboard. Here, if you want, you don't have to turn on your video. I mean, I don't have to see you if you don't want it. It's up to you. Wherever you feel most comfortable.
Okay.
Like my high school kids don't turn on their but I'm scared of them. Also,
Hi, Professor.
hi. If for some reason we get disconnected, there's another Zoom meeting that comes right after this one. If you just click on the same link, it'll set you up into the next meeting. So like there might be a thing where they have a time limit on this session. If that time limit expires, we'll just jump into the next one. Just so you know. Hi.
We just click in the same link.
Yeah, it's going to be the same link every time. So even if you have the first week's link, it'll work every time. And if you click on that link sometime during the day, you end up in one of my high school classes.
Oh.
Because for me, it's one link to get into any of my classes.
What about the lab?
So the lab we're going to start up on next week. I'm
Okay.
putting something together for that, and we'll be starting that up on next week.
So lab is next week.
Yeah, we'll be starting up with labs again on next week.
Would we have a quiz next lab or no?
No. No quiz next lab. That would be kind of rough. All right, and let me put this on Blackboard somehow. I'm gonna give people about 5 minutes to come in late, so we'll start at 45. And we will cover, there's a lot to talk about, right? So we have a lot we can definitely get into and a lot we should get into. No. Let's try this. In fact, even the lab will have the same. We'll have the same.
Quita la cámara, pero hay gente que tiene la cámara puesta.
We'll have the same Zoom information. Let me see what I got here now. Okay. More announcements. Let me add an announcement. There we go. All right, so now it's on Blackboard too. Sweet. Who has never done this before?
Me.
Me?
Me too.
Okay. I actually had a birthday party, a kid's birthday party using this system.
You really?
Yeah. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird, but we all got through it. So
What's your background?
it's a black hole. It's the picture of the black hole that you had.
How do you do that?
It's a setting when you first like set up your account. You can do a virtual background. Like, what's this? What's this?
Nice.
So it's like it gets rid of your background, so you don't see like my neighbor's bathroom or something. Instead, you see the black hole.
Oh, cool.
All right, we'll give people 3 more minutes to get in here, and then we start opening these tabs. Someone's needs to change the batteries on their smoke detectors.
That would be me.
Yeah, it's time.
Nah, it's all right.
What's this? Yeah, but they have different virtual backgrounds. They have one with the northern lights. They have one that's like on the beach, which is weird. They have one that's the San Francisco Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge. And then you can add whatever picture you want to it. So I was like, black hole, because we're getting sucked in.
God.
Yeah, it's good. And this program does get laggy. So if you start experiencing lots and lots of lag, it's almost expected. And I'm going to do something. I'm going to mute everyone. If you can unmute yourself, there's a button that should say unmute, and hopefully you can find it. But this way, we don't get a lot of cross noise, especially feedback. Feedback is when your speakers get your own sound, which does this weird sounding thing. It's kind of neat. But if you want to speak, you can unmute yourself. And if you're having trouble with that, I guess I don't know what you would do. And this is being recorded so that I'm going to turn this into a YouTube video. And at the end, this will be available online for anyone who so desires this kind of information. Yeah, I'm already lagging very nicely. Look at that. Okay. All right. Well, let's get started here. Well, welcome everyone to Brave New World. This is going to be the first of a few of these sessions. From my understanding, we're going on the premise that this will be the remainder of the schedule for this coming semester, which puts us in a pretty interesting and strange place. because I could admit, been doing this since 2001, and we've never gone to an entirely virtual world. I don't necessarily know how this will get done, but we're going to work with what we have. First, before we talk about the ins and outs of the course and what we're going to do, I wanted to give you a little bit of a COVID-19 update and a few sources for where you can go to get information regarding this virus. You might know and or have looked at Johns Hopkins University and Medicine, the Corona Resource Center. They've been tracking this virus very well from the beginning. And this is a data full stream here. Tells you that there's 850,000 cases, which is interesting, but not as interesting as this piece here, which is there's 176,000 documented recoveries and 41,000 deaths. So you assume that, let's just think of COVID-19 as like some kind of sick Hunger Games. There's 850 participants, right? But the only ones who have finished the game are the ones that finished positively with the recovery or negatively with the death. So the recovered to death ratio matters quite a bit. And this is about 4 recoveries for every 1 death worldwide, and almost 5 recoveries per death. And as you also look at the number of cases per day, you see what is close to an exponential growth, which is just a doubling on the regular basis. This also breaks it down for you in terms of the actual different countries. So the US is number 1, and we currently have a 2-to-1 recovery to death ratio. Now, a 2-to-1 recovery death ratio is not nearly as good, obviously, as a 4 or 5-to-1. That being said, though, this does not mean this number will only get better worldwide and in the US, because everyone who dies of COVID-19 is diagnosed, but everyone who recovers from COVID-19 is not always diagnosed. And again, if you have a question or something, feel free to like unmute yourself and just ask the question, and we can go from there. If you look at Italy, Italy also has a beautiful spike, but they have closer to a 1-to-1 death to recovery ratio, which is less good, right? Less advantageous for their population. Spain, they're between 3 and 4-to-1 ratio, right? Well, 2 and 3 death to recovery, recovered to death ratio. But their confirmed is also a spike until you get to China. Now, China has a almost 23-to-1 recovery to death ratio. And look at their confirmations, right? They were exponentially growing and then they've plateaued in a major way. That's not to say that they're not increasing every day. They are increasing, just not like they were before.
I have a question. Do you
Yeah.
think China is like lying about their numbers?
So that now you start asking the questions. Well, why is it that China is doing so much better than the rest of the world, right?
I think they're lying.
Now, they could be lying. That is a possibility, and they've lied even in this outbreak. At first, they were downplaying the fact that this outbreak was a real thing. By the way, our government was lying and downplaying the importance and the severity of this outbreak. This is something that governments do. But China's notorious for lying. They lied in SARS, which is the last major coronavirus outbreak that happened in, I want to say 2008. I don't remember the year. That being said, okay, one of the things they do, like let's say they would go into your house, right? Let's say Chinese official go into your house and they measure a fever in someone in your house. They would take everyone in that house and separate them into different quarantine areas. So the kids go into different quarantine areas, the parents go into different quarantine areas, and you go into different quarantine areas, and you're all separated. And anyone who resists, right, they get 4 people, they grab one person on each arm and leg, they drag you over to a bed in a quarantine area, and they strap you to the bed, and they just leave you there. And if you don't like it, that's too bad, you're strapped to a bed. And then there is no leaving that quarantine area. That is not an option. And you're there for 21 days or 20 days or some set of days. And there are no exceptions, and there are no mitigating circumstances, and there are no, 1 through 10 or any type of amendment rights. Like human rights is not a thing for them. They have no problem doing this. And that's part of the reason too. So could they be lying? Probably. Could they be under testing? Probably. Could their draconian, harsh, iron fist methods of controlling this virus be playing a role? Definitely. Because if you're not near anybody, you can't spread the virus. I mean, that's just reality. So even Germany, right? You look at Germany, which is not doing that. It's got to wait for Germany to load. But Germany has a much bigger recovery to death ratio, right? I mean, a much better recovery to death ratio, but look at their increase in cases. France. France, again, is 3-1, but also has a spike. Iran. And Iran, to be fair, Iran doesn't necessarily have the money to be testing, but still, there's 7-1 recovery to death. But I believe all things are better discussed local. So if you look at Florida's COVID-19 surveillance database dashboard here, I'm gonna give it a chance to load. It actually gives you information based on the cases here in Florida, and it can bring you even down to Dade County. So for example, that's 6,338 total cases in Florida. Yeah, perfect. And 772% of in the hospital. So that's about a 10% hospital rate. Okay, a little bit better than 10% hospitalization rate. 77 deaths, which is a 10% in the hospital to death. And here in Miami-Dade County, there's 1,926 cases. So far, we've only tested 61,000 people here in the state. This is a 21 million person state. And that is a fraction of a percent. 10% of the tests that are done, I feel like this whole story is a 10% story. 10% of the tests that are done come out positive. So if that trend continues, and there's no reason to think it would or wouldn't, right? There's really no way of knowing. But if that trend continues, you can expect about 2 million people to have the virus at any given moment. And 2 million is, I mean, it's a hefty number. So here in Dade then, if you're looking at these numbers, you're going to see 17.8% of the tests that are done are positive. And then this is the part that interested me the most, okay? 15 to 24-year-olds comprise 510 cases as of, these are yesterday's numbers, by the way, right? They don't give you today's numbers necessarily. And 25 to 34-year-olds are 974. These two categories are bigger than these two categories, which are the elderly, right? And you might have been reading that this affects the elderly in a bigger way. And it does affect the elderly in a bigger way in terms of deaths. So more people die elderly with this virus, because this virus starts off at a moderate infection rate, at a moderate disease type, fever, shortness of breath, pneumonia-like symptoms, coughing. And then it moves on to a more severe respiratory failure, needing a ventilator, hanging on to dear life. So when these cases get to stage 2, these people tend to die more than these people. But there's something that has been, it's been reported, right? But it's just, I don't know, it's something that people don't really think about. If you're in the hospital, right, and you are on a respirator, and you're in one of these two groups, you are going to suffer what is called semi-permanent lung damage. What that means is you're going to have lung damage that's going to last longer than the infection. So if you have an infection, let's say, that is supposed to last, I don't know, 20 days, right, 15 days, then you will have lung damage that will last longer than those 20 days. It could be 3 or 4 months. And it wouldn't be surprising if that lung damage became lung scarring. In other words, you're going to have literal scars on the inside of your lungs, which will lower your ability to absorb oxygen on a regular basis, and will also be spots where future infections can come about. So your propensity for pneumonia will increase, your propensity for having shortness of breath, et cetera, will all increase. Also, having negative outcomes due to heart failure later on in your life will also increase, because scarring is scarring, it doesn't go away. So, I stopped watching the news, I would say about 2 weeks ago, but I was surprised at how cavalier young people were walking into this virus situation with the ability to possibly get, semi-permanent and or permanent lung damage. And what I really want to see is some of my 15 to 14-year-old vapors. I want to see how they do in terms of actually when they get the disease, how their outbreak will look from previous lung damage due to vaping. Assuming vaping does some form of lung damage, it'll be interesting to see that. That will be an interesting article that somebody will write 2 or 3 years from now that I'm hoping to be able to see. Does anyone have any questions on just the virus before we move on to the class and what we have to do with class and blah, blah, blah?
Nope.
When do
You
you
guys-
think it's like gonna die down?
So there is no sign anywhere that this is dying down soon. There is no evidence to suggest that we've reached any form of peak. I would consider this to be a very slow moving train, and I would not expect it to change anytime soon. So I don't want to say it's the long haul. I would want to say it's the very long haul. So like I know my high school gets back from Easter break April 18th. I would be surprised if we are back April 18th. I know that the school year ends June 3rd. June 3rd seems to be more of a doable time frame. I know this semester ends the end of April. I would be surprised to see you by the end of April, which leads me to this. These are the remaining time frame schedules that we're going to have for the rest of this semester, today being the 31st. And as you can see, we're going to meet every day around this time. And we're going to talk about the different aspects of this class and the information you're going to need. At the end of all this, you're going to be given a take-home final. The take-home final is literally, I'm going to give you a PDF. You're going to go ham on it. You can look it up. You can work with people. You can do whatever it is you're going to do. I'm going to make it as humanly hard as I possibly can. And then I'm going to get it back, grade it, and then I'm going to combine that grade with your other 2 exams to make your total grade in this class. I know we were going to do 4 exams plus a final and drop the lowest. I really wish I could go back and do that, but that's not possible. I can't give, I wouldn't give 2 take homes and have a drop test anyway. That's not something I would do. So this is the better of the options that were left, right? I'm not going to try to police what ends up happening when I try to police an online test is honest people try to do their best while being honest, and dishonest people take advantage of the situation. So I don't want to punish honest people. So instead, we will we'll follow the schedule. I'll give you the exam on the 28th. It'll open up at midnight on the 28th, and I'll need it back to me by 11:58 on the 28th. You have 24 hours to do it. You'll have a day to do it. And this way, everyone has a chance to work on it and stuff. It won't be like extra long. It won't be, and it's just going to be 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Wow, that's a lot. 32 and then 43. I'm sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to count like 2 tests in a way, but it's take home. So it's like,
Wait, but like, how do we do it? It's on Blackboard, or we?
No, I'm going to email you a PDF.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be questions. You answer them and email me back your responses. It's probably going to be shorter response. It's not going to be multiple guess, because multiple guess is almost a waste of time. But it'll be something like that.
So we can type it.
Yes, no, please type it. I don't want to try to decipher handwriting. And I don't mind you using sources. I don't mind you looking things up. I don't mind you working with people. I don't mind any of that. It's open everything so that everyone is on the same boat so that I can curve it.
Can we do 2 exams like that instead of 1?
Can you say that one more time?
Can we do 2 exams like that instead of 1?
So if I were to do 2 exams like that instead of 1, what would end up happening is we would have to do an exam like here. right? Because that's 1, 2, 3. So we would be doing an exams, sooner. And what would end up happening is, since I've never done take-home exams, right, like this, not only would I get better at doing take-home exams, which it sounds like it would be a good thing for you, but it would actually be a worse thing for you. But also, since I have 2 tests that are currently in person, I need to give them as much value as I can, because I know those are legitimate, in person, no cheating. This is what you know exams, right? These are more of a, what can you find online exam. And unfortunately, that's not how the standards from the Department of Education are written, in a way where that's the way they would want it to happen. I understand what you're saying, though. Why can't we just do 2 exams and do 3 chapters and do 2 separate exams? But that would actually make less sense, because then the 2 tests that we did in person would be half of the class. This way, the 2 tests we did in person are 2/3 of the class, which is better. And then the 1 exam that's take home, well, if you had a bad exam on one of the other ones, I'm expecting most people to do very well on the take home final that is open to everyone, and you have 24 hours to work on it. I'm expecting good grades on it. So I'm hoping that, it's not going to be as good as a drop, but it's going to be better than another take home test.
Okay, my question is, for those who missed the second test, the final was supposed to replace one of, was supposed to drop that grade. So if we miss the second test?
Email me, because this sounds like it's because there weren't many people who went down that road. Email me and let me see if I can't think of some. I might have to go to my department and figure out from them how it is to go about this sort of thing, because that is something I didn't even consider.
Okay.
Yeah, so email me and then let me know the specifics that you missed the second test, why it was you missed it, and then I will let them know and go from there. And I'll tell them that I used to have a drop policy, and I'll see if I can't figure it out on my end before I even go to them.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else have a question?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you said the final will be open all day Tuesday. Is there any way we can have it open longer, say through the weekend prior? Since you said it's going to be written, yeah?
I guess why not? Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's not going to be long. I doubt it's going to take you very long to do, but I could do it for longer. I guess in case some of you work or something, like essential services.
Well, yeah, because I'm working and my other 3 classes are doing something similar where they're making us have a bigger test than they would have. Instead of taking 2 exams, we're having 1 big one. Yeah. Just to ease anxiety, I guess.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. That's not a big deal. And the reason why other people are doing that is because the people who know the way that the educational standards are written, they know that it's not written with take-home test in mind, right? Like take-home test would not be a good way of showing the things that it's trying to show. I wish it was, but it's just not. Any other questions before we move on?
I have one more. I just noticed. Oh no, go back.
Oh, sorry.
Did you misspell blackboard on purpose?
It used to be called Blackbaud.
Cool. Okay.
The program we use used to be called Blackbaud. I could change that.
No, it's fine. I was just curious.
Yeah. The actual company that we use to run Blackboard was called Blackbaud. And then they changed their name, I guess, because it's a smarter way of, word association. But I always forget. Are they bod or board? And I think it's because I think it has 2 sides of it. I think it has like an administrative side and then a classroom side. And I think the administration side is still called Blackbaud.
Yeah, I just Googled it. It still exists. It's still a thing.
Yeah. So and Columbus was thinking about using them back in the day when they were just coming out. And I don't know why. I mean, I wasn't in the meeting as to why they did or did not go down that road. Holy crap, protists. All right, we'll review protists. Oh. I mean, if you've ever had a theory that perhaps some foreign country created coronavirus in order to ruin the lives of people on this planet, it would be that it came out at the time when protist was being taught, because there's no other. That is a pain. All right. All right, let's see if this thing does anything besides load.
All right, before we begin, I have one more question, and I know I might be jumping ahead of myself, but is the lab still going to be a thing?
So the lab is going to be a thing. I'm going to be having a lab, a session in lab, literally starting next week. We're going to be going through the information we would normally go through, and don't even ask me about the final because I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to do about the final.
Okay.
I mean, I really have no clue what I'm going to do about the final because an open notes final is like, why bother?
Yeah. Okay.
I might just double the midterm and call it a day. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
I have to do the have a quiz.
No, I mean, how would you, so for example, right? Let's say I pull out the quizzes where you're identifying protists, just to pick one, right? And it's open notes. How could you ever get one wrong? I mean, I would say if you had an open notes quiz on protists and you got one wrong, then you should automatically fail the class. I'm gonna go that far. Because you could literally do even image searches to get to the bottom of it. So the good news is, though, here's the good news. This is good news, okay? This is good news. Because no matter what nonsense I throw at you at the end of this final, you're going to be able to look a lot of this stuff up. So you're not going to need to put into memory and put into thought a lot of this information. In fact, holy crap, this might become the easiest section in the book now. And you're like, why? I'm like, you don't even need to worry about if golden algae are part of stromatophiles or not. If you see a question that has golden algae in it, you can go to these notes, go to the book, or hell, just search Google, and then you can go ahead and search up golden algae and find out that it's in the clade stromatopile. If you find a question that talks about hairy and smooth flagella, you don't even need to worry about it now. You can just look it up. Also, and I wanted to mention this because I'm worried about this. I think these things have a 45-minute time limit. If we get timed out, rejoin the same session. I have a second class for this class that runs right after it, just in case it times out on me. Okay. So if for some reason we all get kicked out, just rejoin and we'll have another 45-minute thing and class time will end at its normal time. So maybe this is a good thing. You know, maybe I was all poo-poo about this, but this is actually a good thing because now you don't have to remember, like for me, I don't have to remember whether the chlorophytes or the charophytes are the ones that led the plants. I don't have to remember, oh wait, which one were the thread-like pseudopodia and which one were the enta-amoebas, the lobe-like pseudopodia. Like that's gone. All right, so this might be all good. You could also focus now on, so what would I do then? So if it was me, okay, let's say I had an open notes test on this stuff, right? Which I'm assuming for all of you is brand new, right? I would get rid of a lot of these pictures. So for example, like this one, I would get rid of this picture. I would get rid of this picture. I'd make a copy of this. I'd get rid of this picture with the nori, right? I would get rid of that. And then the reason why I would get rid of it is because what I'm going to be doing is Control F, and then like I would type in something like, well, this is only searching this one slide, right? but I would hit Control F and I would be searching the entirety of the slides. Like this. And then, and it wouldn't go as slow for you. It's because, see, and now I have hairy and smooth. And what's going to end up happening is like this picture is going to be no use to me. This purple one, which I'm trying to click on now. Since it's going to be no use to me, I would get rid of that picture. I would literally have that picture, like I would make a copy of this and I would get rid of that picture so that I can shrink down my notes to 60 slides, 50 slides. Once I have my notes down to 50 slides, I would look for answers there first. And you're like, well, why would I do that? You know, OSIS, why would I bother doing that? Why don't I just look everything up on Google? And there's a few reasons why I wouldn't look everything up on Google. Number one is this book harps on the differences between these new subdivisions in the classification system that helps differentiate one process group from another. Other books don't do that. Whether it's a negative or a positive statement is irrelevant. Other books don't cover that. Two, some of the questions I'm going to use will come from the test bank of the book. I'm going to change those questions to make them more of a short answer, short response question. So you're then better off trying to get that information to match in your notes or match in your book, especially if you don't have the book. Like if you don't even have the book, then taking care of your notes is going to matter. And I wouldn't get rid of anything. And in case you were wondering, if you hold Control and hit F, it's a find function. You type in whatever it is you're looking for, and you're going to have to use key terms. Though. Like you're not going to get full sentences out of it. Like you won't be able to copy and paste the question right in there. But it will help you out there the most. And beyond that, right? Beyond that, what I would learn again is the thing I told you in the beginning of protists, which was to cover that last little chart so that you have an idea of the differences between one protist group and another. And the reason is if it gives you some clues that are not explicitly written in the notes, right? But if you can narrow it down as a stromatopodal or as an excavata or as a rosarian or something, if you can narrow it down in some way, shape, or form, you're going to be in a better position to answer that question than if you have no idea. So being able to get some of this information into your head so that when you jump into a question, you're able to, about protists now, you're able to differentiate one group from another based, scientists have found the protists that have this characteristic and that characteristic, but neither of those characteristics is explicitly written in the notes. Then if you know, like, but they have alveoli. It didn't say alveoli. It said they had this, this membrane bound area, right? That's unexplained as to what it does. That could be an alveoli. If you make that connection, that might be an easier way to figuring out, more about that question. Like thinking about it, that's what I would do. If I had a test, and I'm even thinking about this in terms of how I'm going to write the test, the best way I would go about studying for it is to differentiate these groups. I wouldn't even know all the key characteristics. Maybe I would have this separate, maybe you print it out or something if you don't feel like memorizing it and just have it there. But I would have that I would be very comfortable with that information so that when something important I read, it would pop out at me and I'm like, oh, wait, that matters. I remember seeing that in this. That's what I would do with 28. There's really no reason to go into 28 as far as the depth and breadth of all of the information of 28. I feel like that would almost be folly. Like, what's the point of that? Because to learn and memorize all of that information is different from what you're going to need. You're going to need to be comfortable with that information so that it's not like the first time you're trying to answer something and everything's just strange and unusual. Now that brings us to 29. At least you've seen 28 before. So with 29 should be plant diversity 1. With plant diversity 1, these are, this section talks about first how we went from water to land and the characteristics that got us from the water to the land, how drying out was a problem, how it was really cool to be on land because it was unfiltered water supply, characteristics that all plants have. You should know what these characteristics are, right? So, and when I say you should know, you're like, oh, but I can look up what a multicellular dependent embryo, right? But if I do, oh, hang on, let me see. I'm gonna see if I do a Google search on dependent embryo. Let's say I see a question and I see a Google search on dependent embryo plant. I just wanna see what I get. Multicellular plant embryos develop. Okay, no, you might get it. Number of the plant through which spore walls produced. All right. So what is a dependent embryo? Multicellular dependent embryo, banana transfer cells. Okay, good. No, we're good. We're good. We're good. So you don't even need to know what those things are, those things necessarily mean. You just need to know that they're characteristics of plants, or at least be able to find them on this thing, which you can do with a search. Okay. Walled spores. Yeah. Yeah, you should be able to search all this stuff. So this might just be getting rid of pictures. This one I would keep because it's actually a simple picture that gives you a life cycle. But like this and this, you don't need that since you're going to be searching stuff anyway. This I would get rid of because it's just fun, but I don't think you need this either. Okay. Peat Man I would get rid of, even though Peat Man is interesting. Vascularity it talks about Stroboli, heterospores and homospores. These are all things you can look up. Can you search this? I don't think this is searchable. I think this is part of a picture. Now look. So I would get rid of this picture, but the information on this picture is useful. So you're going to need to maybe retype it, or just because what's going to end up happening is you're going to type it heterospores. But this is something to do with the search function of either PowerPoint or Google Slides, is that it can't search within a picture. It needs to be something that's written like as in a text box. And this is not written in a text box. So that won't hold. I'm not going to ask you about individual types of anything. Whisk ferns, no. Yeah. So, all right. So then this is not that bad. You know what? I'm thinking advantage you on this thing, right? Because you're going to be looking at things that you don't need to memorize. You don't need to commit it to memory, but at the same time, and is easily searchable and is in your notes, and you don't need your book, which is good, right? And the negative side of it is going to be, what would the negative side of it be? I guess how hard the questions are, right?
And that it's on 6 chapters.
And that it's on 6 chapters, but you could put all these notes onto one set if you really wanted to. Once you get rid of the pictures, you might be looking at 200 slides, 250 slides, and then just find. Under edit, find and replace. Well, find and replace is different from find, but you can literally just find them all. Huh.
I don't know how to put the 6 chapter things together. How do you do that?
So you would do, if you click here, right? And then hit Control A, and then copy, which is Control C. You go to the bottom here. It's lagging. And then you hit paste, and you go like you take it from one slide, you take it to another by copying and pasting the slides from one side to the other. It's lagging on me right now, so you can't even see it.
Got it. And you said we can delete all pictures?
I would.
Okay.
I mean, unless you're going to go through and search every picture, eyeballing it, right? And that just doesn't sound like. So if like from here, you would hit, if I hit Control V, which is paste, it would paste all of the previous slides right under. Or you could go to another set of notes, copy those notes, and paste it all on that side. This is crazy. This is going to be much easier. Yeah, I'm glad I'm only doing one test. This is much, much easier. You're like, I want 7 tests like this. I want to bury the other test. I get that, but that's crazy. That's what I would do. And you know what? I told you to save this picture. I wouldn't even save this picture. I would save this one that has this, and get rid of the vast majority of the others. And don't worry, I'm not going to make the test like super long or with lots of words or try to trip you up, or it can only be as hard as it's going to be. Like hard should not be replaced with confusing. All right, does anyone have any questions on what your test is going to look like and what this information is going to look like? I'm not entirely sure how I'm supposed to explain this stuff to you with an open notes test. When I took classes online at Miami-Dade, the thing was I was preparing for a closed notes test. I was preparing for everything closed test. And the thing is, when you come in with an open everything test, that should change everything. That's a huge game changer. Because now instead of having to put things into my head, I'm putting everything, it's going to be right in front of me as I go. And like I said, if I could sit here and say, don't use your whatever, but then only honest people would do that and everybody else won't. I don't believe in punishing honest people. Don't you feel better about being on lockdown now?
So much better.
Right? I don't know. I just like a breath of fresh air. All right. Let me do something here.
So for the exam, I know you said it's going to be hard, whatever, but like all the answers we can find on our PowerPoints.
Are they all going to be on the PowerPoints? I'm not sure, but I would start there.
You see, you're getting tricky now.
Well, no, I would not call that tricky. I'm giving you the entire world of the internet, a device that was designed for the sole purpose of sharing information. Its original purpose was not pornography or memes.
Oh.
It was actually to share information. It was created by the military to share information.
Can we at least expect that you won't throw something in there that we haven't already seen or covered?
Correct. No, I will not throw anything out of left field. I am not going to purposely try to trick you up to make it harder. That's not what I'm about doing. That's, again, it's only can be as hard as it can be because of the way it's being delivered. But I'm not going to be like, well, since they have their notes, I'm going to grab this PhD level question and see if I can't make them do original novel research on, like, no, that's not what we're doing.
For extra credit, can you make like, can you like open the homework again so we can do everything? And
Why don't you do the homework from this point forward? Because I was not going to count the test 3 homework. Like I was going to let it go for the test 3 homework anyway, since we never had a test 3. Just do the test 4 homework stuff.
So extra credit will be attendance?
And the homework,
So-
like the first 2 homeworks and the last homework.
Okay, so let's say we didn't miss a single day, and we're not going to miss a single day. How many points will we get for that? 1 to our whole grade?
Right, a total of 1%, and for the homework, a total of no more than 1%. Last semester, it was 1.2%.
Got it.
Those
How
2
long-
combined, by the way.
How long is that last homework open for? So when?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'd have to check.
Yeah, would you mind and then shooting us an email or whatever?
Yeah, I can do that. But I know that the date is actually on Mastering Biology.
Yeah, That would mean I would have to create an account, which I have not done.
Oh, well, you have to pay for it. If you haven't done it yet, it's not worth 1.21%. It's not worth it. You can only do the last homework. So you're talking
Right.
about 1/3 of 1%. It's
Yeah, I did the first two on a free trial, so I was thinking maybe I could do the same thing if I'm sneaky.
I see.
Got it.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I'll take a look. Let's take attendance, and if you stick around, you know what? I can take a look as soon as I let everybody else go, because I don't have anything else to talk about for 28 and 29. And how often do we get to say we get to get out of class early? NB.
Here.
All right, PB.
Here.
All right, AC.
Here.
Cool. DC.
Here.
LC.
Here.
CC. Letters. No hoodie. AF.
Here.
JF. JF?
Here.
Oh, okay. KG. CH.
Here.
IL. JMG. CP.
Here.
APC.
Here.
MPC. MP. JP. MP again.
Here.
You're Matthew?
Marlene Ponte.
Oh, you're the first MP. Okay.
Yeah.
So Matthew. No. Okay. CR. LRP.
Here.
FR.
She's here, but her microphone isn't working.
Perfect. Thank you. LRR.
Here.
RR.
Here.
RS.
He's also here. His mic's not working.
Cool. AT.
Pressure. Oh, yeah. Okay.
AT. Okay. MTP.
Here.
If your mic's not working at the end, I'll see whoever's still on the class, and I'll see your name and I'll add you in. Okay, I see that name. LV.
Here.
DV.
Here.
RV.
Here.
And AZ.
Here.
All right. That is the class. I will see you guys Thursday. If I didn't get you on attendance, stick around and I will see your name real quick. I'm also going to look up that mastering biology thing and see what's there. If you have a question you didn't want to share in front of everybody, stick around as well. For everyone else, have a wonderful day and be safe. So Carlos Rodriguez, it seems like I didn't get him.
Something about extra credit?
Is that Carla Rodriguez? That's probably
Carla.
yeah, Carla Rodriguez. I got you. All right, Carla.
Like, let's say we do the homework, right? Is the extra credit based on the percent that we get on the homework, or just that we did it?
The percentage that you did.
Right. The percentage that we got right.
No, the percentage that you completed. So
Oh.
Fabiana.
I wish I would have known that.
Rogalero. Yeah, Rogalero, I got you here. You're here. All right, I'm trying to sign into my skip for now. Oh, my nose is so itchy.
Professor,
Yes.
Letters was here.
Okay, perfect.
My mic just wasn't working.
That's fine.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. And fixed. Yes. Myra, if you're trying to talk to me, I don't hear anything. Oh, attendance? Okay. Myra Perez Javak. All right, you're here. I got you. It looks like I don't have any assignments left here. Why don't I have any assignments left here?
I haven't been able to access the new rubric, the new syllabus through Blackboard. Can you email it out?
I did, and I can email it out. I'm going to put it on Blackboard in a few moments as well.
Okay.
Why did all of my due dates and due times go away for 2011 spring? It's all gone. What just happened?
Wait, I'm checking on my computer. Let's see if it says the same thing.
That's so weird. What is going on?
I think you should just give everybody a point for homework.
Am I the
That
wrong?
would be like really nice.
Right. But then all the people who did it are going to be like, why did I do it? And all the people who paid for it are going to be like, why did I pay for it?
Well, they got the point anyways.
Right. But that's usually not how it goes.
And that's why I didn't bother. It's come full circle.
So the last thing it shows is homework for exam 3, which is obviously past due. I didn't do it. Homework for exam 3. So maybe it shows nothing for you. I don't know. Because you didn't like the last. What homework do we do? Homework for exam 4?
Yes.
Only homework for exam 4.
Yes.
That's chapter 31, 32, and 43.
Yeah, but I can't.
So we don't have to do chapter 28, 29, and 30.
Correct. That I was going to let go of no matter what, just because we didn't take that test and we weren't even around for that.
Okay. It shows up on my computer.
Right. But we weren't like in class or online. So OSIS.
No, I'm saying homework for 4. Like
Yes. Yeah,
4.
I'm trying to find it now. I think it's just sending me to the wrong class. I feel like it's just sending me to expired classes, and I don't know why it's doing that. Instead of just sending me to classes that are not expired. Okay, so this is called OSIS 20105. Give me OSIS 20105. Okay, so what is going on with you today?
Like for me, when I look it up in the mastery and I put your ID, it's now.
Oh,
it's not
you
letting
know what
me-
it is? You know what it is? It's mastering biology and labs. Mastering and lab or whatever. My lab and mastering. I was on the wrong site. I was on the old site. That's why it wasn't working. It's another annoying little thing. They actually changed the site. All right, so for assignments, I have exam 4, same prep. All right. All right. This is 20105. All right, I'm gonna have to ask them to find out where it is that my class went, because apparently it's poof. I don't know where it is. So I'm going to have to ask them where my class is. Let me see, wait. Mastering and lab. Pearson, My Lab, and Mastering Biology. Is it this?
Okay, I think I just got my microphone working. It's
You
just I
did.
need the attendance.
Yes, I got you. Well, look at that, trial by
Ooh.
fire. All right, let me grab some more of these people on attendance. Corvo, I got you. Vasquez. No. Ponte. Let me do it the other way. Porras or Prieto? No. And Kevin Gonzalez are the only people who are absent, according to me. So, all right, I got the rest of you. Let's try this. I wonder if I have to use a different login because of. All right, I'm going to track this down. You know what? By the time I have you guys on Thursday, I will figure out what exactly happened to the assignments and where they went and what to do about them. Because I'm not doing something right and I'm not figuring it out by sitting here.
Did you say you're gonna open the rest of the chapters to do?
No, I didn't say anything like that. What I said we were going to do was skip homework number 3 and just stick with homework number 4
Okay.
and then move forward from there, right? Because when homework number 3 came due, we weren't in class and we weren't online. We were just in limbo. So I moved on from there.
So only number 4.
The only one left to do was number 4.
Okay, yeah.
Professor, so I have one question before I go.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you let us know if the final replaces your lowest grade?
It does not. I can tell you
It
right.
doesn't?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, let me see. Oh, I know who it was with. It was with, what's her face? It was Neldy or whatever. I found it. Oh my God, that was so hard. They really need to close some of those other sites already. All right, so let me see. For the homework. The next homework is due 4/21 at 4 o'clock. So April 21st at 4 o'clock, due in 21 days.
I had a question.
Yeah.
So what are we doing for lab?
So we're gonna have an update on lab on next week. We're gonna have like a regular lab session. It's gonna be like, it's not gonna be the full 3 hours or whatever. It's gonna be maybe, 45 minutes, but we're gonna do what we normally do towards the end of lab, where we talk about the stuff we need to know. And then there are gonna be no quizzes, and I have no idea what I'm gonna do about the final. We might just double up on the midterm and call it a day.
Yeah, we should double up on the midterm.
Yeah, everyone who had a good midterm grade wants to do that, and everyone who had a poor midterm grade does not want to do that. So I guess it just depends on where you sit in the fence.
And
Anybody
then
else?
just to
ahead.
verify, with the whole final situation, so they're all going to be worth about 33% of our grade,
Correct.
or is it going to be, like
No,
No,
they're all
30,
gonna be
30, and
worth,
40.
they're all gonna be worth about a third. Because even though the final has more information, it also is open notes. So I'm hoping that kind of balances it out a little bit.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, so I'm gonna end this. I gotta upload this up to YouTube and put the link somewhere on our Blackboard. Plus, I gotta put the revised semester up on Blackboard, and it's just a lot to cover in a little bit of time. And if you realize you have another question or whatever, feel free to ask me on Thursday. Plus, I now know that these meetings can go longer than 45 minutes, so I don't need to make double. You guys don't look as excited, but all right, have a good one. Be safe. Don't get Zika or Corona.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.